This is Ted Koppel, ABC News, Okinawa.
In Vietnam, an American outpost near Khe Sanh was attacked today by North Vietnamese troops using flamethrowers and dynamite bombs. U.S. tanks and artillery helped stop the enemy. American casualties were light. At Da Nang, more than 400 tons of shells were blown up at the big U.S. airbase, touched off by wind-blown grass fires. A report via satellite now from ABC's Frank Mariano, who was at the scene with some American soldiers.
Frank, that's why I say we better get the hell out of here.
Located just off the end of the 10,000-foot runway of the Da Nang Air Base, where 12,000 airmen and Marines are located. Several buildings on the base were lightly damaged from the concussion of exploding 1,000-pound bombs. Several thousand tons of explosives used by bombers at the air base were stored here. Casualties and damage won't be known until the ammunition blows itself out, which may take several days. Vietnamese civilians for 5 miles around the south end of the base were evacuated. Fireballs soared skyward after each blast. They could be seen from every point in Da Nang. One American airman close to the area where the 1,000-pounders went off told me he now has some idea what the enemy suffers during a B-52 raid. Frank Mariano, ABC News, Da Nang.
American planes in South Korea are taking on the main responsibility for defending U.S. reconnaissance flights over the Sea of Japan.
I was wrong. Dan Meadow, CBS News, Washington.
In South Vietnam, enemy troops carrying flamethrowers and satchel charges broke through the outer defenses of an American position near Khe Sanh. 5 of the defenders were killed and 35 wounded. Fire from American artillery and tanks killed 34 North Vietnamese. At Da Nang, 2 persons were killed and 66 wounded in a chain of explosions and fires from American ammunition dumps. About 2,000 shanties near the Da Nang Air Base were destroyed or damaged, leaving more than 15,000 South Vietnamese temporarily homeless. We have a film report on the explosions from CBS newsman Tony Sargent.
The public may never know exactly what caused the ammunition dumps on Da Nang Air Base to blow sky high. The official explanation is that an apparently unwatched fire in a garbage pit spread to dry grass, then to some old damaged ammunition awaiting destruction, and finally to the ammunition dumps themselves. But it was just the kind of show a Viet Cong saboteur might have longed for. Within the perimeter of the heavily guarded airbase, so spectacular a bit of sabotage would have been very difficult. But it would not have been totally impossible for a Viet Cong sapper to have smuggled in enough explosive to cause the initial fire. The Marines and the Air Force each lost 1 ammunition dump, and neither would be anxious to reveal that their defenses had been breached. However it happened, it's the kind of event that turns military faces red and produces long investigations that often yield vague results. If the Viet Cong had nothing to do with the spectacular display, they must have been puzzled over how it happened. They certainly had no trouble seeing it, for the smoke reportedly was visible as far as 50 miles from Da Nang. Thousands of explosions broke windows throughout the city. One report says a Marine watching from a mile away was hit by shrapnel from one of the blasts. The enemy knows just by counting the blasts that a lot of U.S. ammunition will never be used in the war. Military authorities insist Da Nang has enough other ammo dumps that no unit will be cut short until resupply arrives. Civilian losses near the base were caused by fire and impact from the blasts. Losses might have been even higher if the explosions had not increased their tempo and force so gradually throughout the afternoon. This gave time for officials with loudspeakers to organize a fairly effective evacuation. Da Nang Air Base was completely closed to air traffic for several hours. This cut down the number of possible missions by fighter bombers in support of Allied troops in battles on the ground in I Corps. Although the enemy probably had no direct hand in the occasion, he certainly got some benefits. Tony Sargent, CBS News, Da Nang.
The war war in Vietnam has stimulated the development of all kinds of military novelties.